Hello again everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are on the map Eternal Consequences, which we've only seen one or two times I believe, and we are on a 1v1 here between two players. Player number one is Mr. Ubivator, and their opponent here on the opposite side of the map is Mr. Modulo. Wow, look at look at your face camera. Holy moly. I don't quite get what he was trying to do there, but all right. So, as we mentioned before, we got the team cameras over here. Top here is because of the top person on the map, Modulo, and the bottom is Ubivator. I feel like Ubivator's may make more sense if you had it bigger to see why he's zooming out so much. There you go. But we're not going to do that because it just takes up too much room. So, yeah, just slide that back into place. There we go. Okay, so both players, what are they doing? Well, Modulo starting arm bots. Both players are arm, if I remember correctly. Let's just double check that. Yeah, both players, well, both starting arm bots. Both checking out a few ticks right off the bat here, with the very first con being produced here by Ubivator. Resbot actually being chosen by Modulo here to get all of this 7k energy in this little divot down here. Now this will mean that Modulo will have to build less energy at least to get going, and also means that with this Resbot providing that extra energy, he's going to be able to get out this second constructor a lot quicker. Saying that though, Ubivator's done the exact same here. And being able to pick up that early resbot and deny your opponent that is going to be vital. But both players are defending their resbots very, very strongly here. Now, he says that, but Modulo actually loses his resbot. No, sorry. Modulo kills Ubivator's resbot. Does a very good job at it as well, managing to maneuver the forces around. Now, there is this guy left over here from Ubivator, so I have to be careful and see what he's able to actually accomplish. But there is one already in a hole over here, just waiting to go. Modulo still being careful, trying to defend this. Now, Modulo has switched over to pawns, and we can see pawns starting to make their way across the map here. And Ubivator is following suit. Now, looking at this map, there's quite a lot of room. It is made to be a team map, as well as a 4v4 map. So you've got a triple here, triple here, triple here, and obviously the two start positions. Now, Ubivator and Modulo have chosen different start positions. In essence, Modulo has gone here. Like this, watch this early brawl, unable to really get any sort of value with those pawns there. Meaning that Modulo is closer to the center, closer to the hole. Well, actually saying that. No, ignore that statement. Modulo is basically here, actually, looking at it, because this spot would be this spot. So yeah, Modulo is here, Ubivator is here. In the equivalent, that would be there. Surprisingly though, I've always seen the blue player go in this position. I've never seen a blue player go elsewhere. So it does seem like this is a common kind of decision for both sides of the map, that they both go in these positions, even though it is kind of like basically the same map on either side. So I don't know why one player would favor each of the positions depending on their side of the map. If you have any ideas on why that might be, why don't you let me know in the comments? Enlighten me. But there's a lot of crystal on this map. Metal points in the center of this crater are 2.9, and as well as in the little crater here at the bottom are 2.5. The high ground ones are also 2.5, so they do give more metal than on the rest of the map. But being that this is a team game, there's already so much metal in terms of the triple mexes that I don't think it really matters. too much. And both players just kind of taking their time here. No one's really committing to any vital attack or anything like that. Currently, actually, we have Ubivator kind of struggling a little bit for energy. Modulo is doing fine. He's actually building his first con turret, which might actually stall him out on energy here, as well as building a con at the same time. Oof, just short. That resbot's still wearing away. Modulo trying to find a gap as we select his view here. I don't think he's microing these guys at all. You can see he's not. He's actually microing these guys over here that are in defense. Now noticing that his guys managed to actually make it through the front line, but not really with anywhere to go. Does manage to grab the resbot though. Again, that's a second resbot loss for Ubivator here. Bear in mind that when we look at a resbot's cost, you know, they cost about the same amount of energy and actually cost a little bit more metal than a constructor. So it's the equivalent of basically losing a constructor here to a degree. And also now with the amount of reclaim that's just sat here, almost 500 metal just sat right outside of his base, that resbot would come in handy right now. Same time, Ubivator does manage to secure, kill off a triple mex position at the top here of Modulo. He does have the Rex still there, and it looks like he's just going to get a resbot. Yep, he already got one. He's going to get a resbot, and he's going to resurrect those metal extractors. Tough position for Ubivator at the moment. He's playing very, very defensively. More resbots now on the field and resurrecting everything in the immediate area. Now, if Modulo is able to make use of all of this, like actually, you know, expand into these locations that whilst he's containing Ubivator, then that will work extremely well for him. But at the moment, that's not the case. Big wave of pawns come over the hill. It's a bit shame that they're coming in one by one. There we go. He regroups them just before reaching the outside, but he has lost kind of the element of surprise here, the initiative on this attack, and units do move to counter that. There is a bit of an attack going on at the south here, so Ubivator is going to have to kind of spread his forces. Modulo does need to be careful about kind of giving too much feed without getting too much value here, as that attack again goes in. All it manages to do is take out a radar, and now all of that reclaim is just, again, 600 metal just sat in the base. This attack over this side again was not able to get anything. The resbots though do get killed yet again. That's down 4 resbots now for Ubivator, and right at the time when he could desperately need it. With so much metal sat in his base, he never actually managed to resurrect this previous attack. And the question is, can Modulo keep this up? With Centurions now deployed to the front, these pawn armies are going to get less and less viable. As soon as Ubivator gets the Centurion in like one of every position, those pawns are basically redundant. But Modulo taking the first metal extractor in the center, basically 3 metal rather than the 2 metal you get from the other metal extractors. So pretty decent. He is expanding with, let's just check actually. He's got a triple con at the top here, slowly expanding. He's got a single con there. He's got a double con here expanding. A double con here. So that's quite a lot of expansion cons. 8 expansion cons total, as opposed to Ubivator's 2. So definitely being a bit greedy with expansion here, Modulo. Let's see if that pays off for him at all. first bomber has been produced as well. See, bombers being made here by Ubivator. Will this be enough to make a difference? Trying to stop those res bots getting all of that reclaim field, but Modulo without enough forces really to do it. 4 bombers on their way in. Modulo with 2 bot labs here pumping out anti-air as well as building a lot of anti-air. First bomb wave does drop. They actually pretty much all managed to drop their bombs, but only really getting a single metal extractor and a wind. Not really the value he was hoping for. These gunships, however, may provide more value as they're able to pick off all of these lone metal extractors. Now he is rushing AA bots over there, but it is going to put a bit of a dampener on the expansion that Modulo has gotten so far, as well as these 2 guys down the bottom here are just don't have enough forces here to defend them really. This is going to go and catch those 2 expansion cons pretty quickly. LLTs may be enough to oh, there's just a single nettle there. The gunships are dead. These guys haven't been spotted, which I find... Oh, no, there they are. Now they have. Will the LLT get built in time? There is 2 cons here. It's going to be close. LLT does get built, but dies instantly. And now the EMP... Well, it may matter as more grunts are on their way in. Sorry, pawns are on their way in. Nice, able to pick up this force. No longer of any value and still managing to hold that bottom line. But this is a little bit worrying here for Modulo. This is a large quantity of pawns and most of these have actually been resurrected. Now, there's not really any defensive line built around here at all. There is an LLT up here, but there's enough guys to manage to make it through. A self-D on that LLT would have been lovely, but no. And 3 cons at the top here will now go down. That's a lot of constructors to lose. Meanwhile, holes are appearing here as units just manage to make it through the front line of Modulo, and his forces are just collapsing on every avenue here. Unable to deal with all of these resurrected units, getting a lot more value from them than he was able to inflict in the first place. And 2 Centurions have managed to march their way across the map here, getting killed pretty quickly. And luckily enough, not being microed to those forces. Now, interestingly enough, Ubivator actually pulls his forces back. If we select this, he doesn't actually know about these 2 constructors that were up there, so he's been quite fortunate really. Still more gunships causing havoc for Modulo as they go round and just pick off all of these metal extractors. Now, luckily enough for him, there are a lot of wrecks left and they will be able to be resurrected if he's able to control the territory, that is. Gets the metal extractors, there's no point losing more forces. Now, this may become a bit of a problem as it does seem like he has been spotted now, Modulo, on this high ground. He's got a huge queue here to try and build a bunch of LLTs, but he's going to need more than that. He is trying to send forces up here to save those constructors. which he might have actually accomplished now, as half the force was split with only 5 left. There is plenty of pawns here in order to stop that. So this high ground will have been secured again by Modulo. And with still having the constructors there, that's quite valuable. At the same time, Modulo's commander, Ubivator's commander rather, forced out of this middle section by a army of maces. Clearing up these defenses and the metal extractors in the center, he will slowly start marching forward. He does have to be careful of this force here. There's 20 pawns making their way around the side. He does have 2 bot labs though, Modulo, so he could quite easily build some Centurions here to stop this. At the moment though, he isn't. And this could be dangerous. Modulo's commander actually positioning for a D-gun here. But unfortunately for Modulo, a bit too slow on the reaction, and these units looks like they may be able to do some damage here. Getting 2 pawns with the D-gun, but they have managed to get by the forces of Modulo, and they are going to wreak havoc with the energy production of Modulo here, taking out huge chunks of wind. Luckily enough, they've only been built in lines, so he's actually not managed to do quite as much damage. At the same time, though, the forces of Modulo have attempted to march forward. They also have no AA support with them. Come on, Modulo, you should know better. You've seen how many gunships he's been building. Where's your air support? Oh. The maces and Centurions just getting picked apart by the gunships. With no AA support, disappointing. At the same time, though, Modulo has done a bit of an attack, counter-attack at least, to Ubivator's base here. But not being pathed in a manner that would actually have them intercept the base. They do pick off a metal extractor, but these guys, I think, are just going to get caught out substantially here and all get destroyed without really inflicting any damage at all. Yeah. Some beamers built very far forward here on this ridgeline will do a decent job at holding off any further attacks. Do we see Modulo building an air lab yet? No. 600 metal and destroyed stuff in his base. He does have resbots already on it. There is some idle constructors here. He doesn't really have any metal in order to do it, but there are metal extractors here that need recapping. He does have a guy heading towards it now, but still, idle build power is never good. And having 2 constructors just sat there, they could be going south right now. There's only 1 guy going south. Like just outside the range. But so far, it's hard to say. No one really controls this bottom area very much. Middle area, again, kind of the same. But Modulo holding this top section here, and he's been holding it for quite a long time. Now, gunships are looking like they're about to head over here now and try and change that. Literally, as I just, like, said that he had control of it. Typical. They're going to be able to shoot down those nettles so quickly that Modulo really needs fighters or some substantial AA, because now with nothing here, yep, all the build power gets destroyed, and this stronghold at the top has just been completely destroyed. Good push on the bottom though from Modulo. Again, a large amount of resurrected units in this army, but there's just way too many pawns on either side, and this Modulo army just gets enveloped and will be destroyed quickly if Ubivator was microing it. At the same time, we see a bit of a mace push here. Centurions are being pulled back though to try and grab these pawns. But now the mace army is getting enveloped by the pawns instead. And that's a lot of metal to throw away. And the pawns also only get a single metal extractor. That's a big metal loss there. And as we select the res bots, we can see almost 4k metal here, 1k metal here. And at the same time, we see Ubivator has gone tech 2. He's been pumping out ghosts and some tumbleweeds here in order to kill this big tech 1 army. Modulo having a bit of an APM stall here, losing these 4 units in the center. And now this could be a pretty substantial push. We'll see how well they do. These maces just like all bottled up here. It's just asking for a tumbleweed really. And this many maces versus a whole group of pawns might not work out too well. Does surprisingly do for now though. Pressure being inflicted on the top, but with a beamer here, it makes short work of all of these pawns. And what can Modulo do? Well, Modulo is already going into air, finally. He's built a bunch of bombers, this time a lot more than his opponent, but pretty sure that Ubivator saw that now. He doesn't actually have any fighters though right now. He has built some Tech 2 anti-air with this bot lab. Yeah, there we go. Is pumping out a bunch of pop-up turrets. That was a very good mace pawn there, managing to get in. Don't quite get what these air transports are for, other than just moving the guy around, the Tech 2 guy. Chainsaw also up at the same time. Bombing run spread out, gets a bunch of wins, but realistically not anywhere near as much as he was hoping for. Tumbleweeds do get stopped before they take out the maces, but there are 2 more tumbleweeds, and with hounds on the field now as well, these maces are going to be outranged. They are able to inflict some damage though. But it's looking a bit, I don't know. Modulo actually choosing to remove the bot lab and the air lab here, and is now pumping out stouts on repeat with a Whistler mixed in there as well. He is just going all in on Tech 1, which is a ballsy choice because he knows his opponent is Tech 2. So far, metal produced difference is 8%. Not the biggest difference in the world, but it is a difference. The metal a second is hard to judge because of reclaim. There's a lot of reclaim. But Modulo has been doing a decent job at re-expanding with these 2 cons here. It's just going around slowly rebuilding stuff. He does have an idle con here and here, so 3 idle cons just sat up here. He also has nothing to stop this position on that top side. Completely focused right now on this stuff at the bottom. I say that as he looks like he's about to try and go up there. D-gun gets 2 maces. And nothing really to worry about there. The tank tumbleweed combo. Oh my god, that tumbleweed just absolutely decimates the tank force. So much damage. All of that initiative that Modulo had from that initial wave of tanks completely destroyed. And I think this is a really ballsy choice by Modulo here to not go air. Like, he really needs some fighters. Oh, interesting. Air transport drop of 5 whole pawns. And this is the sort of thing that if you had fighters would also not happen. Make that 3 pawns. Make that 2 pawns. A whole 2 pawns. Yay. These guys will maybe make it through. But the biggest worry is right now over here. More tumbleweeds getting tremendous value here. Really disrupting this attack of Modulos here. Now, he does manage to pick up a Tech 2 constructor. That is pretty valuable. But there's just too many tumbleweeds coming out. He's unable to really deal with all of this stuff. Look at this wind farm that the Ubivator is planning on building along here. Meanwhile, on the top there, the airdropped single pawn and the rest of them did actually manage to make it past the defensive line of Modulo and is now into this energy production area, starting to take out some of the wins. No, it's not the biggest deal in the world due to the fact that his commander is just churning out wins at the side here. And he does have some advanced solar, so it's not the end of the world. But it's still a bit of a distraction and he needs to be paying his attention elsewhere. Losing the 3 metal extractors or 6 metal extractors, maybe more of a loss if anything. Those 2 idle constructors get picked off again. It's a bit late for you to notice them now, Modulo, now that they're dead. And looking again down the bottom, this just combination of EMP and tumbleweed is just so strong. It's going to be difficult for him to really deal with this. And all the while, metal produced number is starting to drastically increase between the 2 players as this Tech 2 starts paying off more and more as time goes on. Again, more gunships now heading out. Fighter support as well. And all this time, Modulo has nothing to deal with air. And this entire tank force is now has to turn around just because of how many gunships there are. He can't just go in against that. Meanwhile, at the bottom, tank force is just getting peppered by these hounds, unable to counter them. It's forced to back off as well. So Modulo being forced back on every avenue here. And I find this funny. You've got a bit of a build-off going on. Who will win, the LLT or the pop-up? LLT is the victor. And able to grab a Tech 2 constructor here from an LLT. No, focus on the constructor. Ah, oh, yes, that's pretty good value there. A Tech 1 bot managing to kill a Tech 2 constructor and a welder is pretty tremendous. Right, so Modulo changing tactics yet again here. Moving on to gunships and fighters, 2 air labs. And is now pumping out anti-air and stout and scout. And here comes the gunships. Fights happening on multiple areas here. Welders and sniper bots supported by EMPs and gunships, but the tank force keeps on rolling. Huge amount of metal here to give up unless they're able to actually get anything. Gunship wave comes in. Is it going to be able to get anything? He's hoping for like a snipe or something here, but well, all of the gunships here getting destroyed well before anything happens. And with that,
Commander self-destructed.
Modulo calls the GG. Going for a snipe there with the gunships just didn't work. The delaying going Tech 2 put him way too far behind, and that was it, really. Well played.
Battle
Ubivator
ended.
kept it calm and collected, keeping up that air pressure throughout the game, and that really worked very well for them. And that Tech 2 switch to Ghosts and the Tumbleweeds just worked tremendously. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you all next time.